What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Honest Tattooer podcast, brought to you by Tattoo Smart, Tattoo Pro, and Steadfast Tattoo Supplies. My name is Jon Mesa. I'm with my co-host, Matt Truiano.
Hey, how you doing?
And we have a guest and some old friends back with us today. So Joe Cap, welcome back to the show.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And
It's just tradition now.
Nice. That's my intro.
today's guest, Christian Perez. Welcome to the pod, man.
How's it
Oh,
going?
like
Thanks
him.
for having me.
No, thanks for coming through and hanging out with us and taking the trip from Connecticut to hang out with
Of
us.
course. He complained the entire time.
Oh, no, really?
I made him drive.
I know you didn't want to do this, right?
Mostly I didn't want to drive to New York.
Okay.
But
I tried to get him to stay, but he's not having it. So.
no. But your shop's beautiful.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you dig it, man. If you guys ever want to come and, hang out in the city in the chaos and do some tats,
Definitely.
we should do a tiny little convention.
So we're actually, it's funny you bring that up. Like me, Jimmy Litwalk, and Jonathan Fudd from Dayton, Ohio. We're actually doing one in Dayton, just like what you said. It's basically a gathering of tattooers. And we're going to get like hopefully 6 to 8 tattooers. And we're going to tattoo. We're going to paint. We're going to fucking do some one shots. We're going to do drawings. We're doing a bunch of shit. And over the course of 3 days, I believe it's the last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of August. It's called Hoedown in Dayton.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
Yeah. So
that sounds rad. Like I saw that Oliver just did Elmfest in his shop down there. And when we hung out in Israel, he was telling me all about it. I was like, oh, that sounds like so much fun.
This is not that. Like what he did is like he gets a venue and everything else, which I think is phenomenal. Cause it's like what, 8 or 10 artists or something like that.
It looked like it was more than that.
Or maybe
this
it's
year.
12.
It looked like, maybe it's a little bit bigger, but I was like, damn, that's freaking cool.
This is happening in a shop. We didn't go to the venue. But yeah, I love that. I mean, dude, I think that's the direction all this shit should go back. I mean, and this is, I'm going to be shitting on a lot of people, but it's one of those things. You got a lot of these individuals that are putting on these events where, you pay to take part in a weekend with a handful of your favorite artists. You know what I mean? So you have to pay to be part of it. Where when you do something like that, he's hosting an event that everybody can come out and hang out during and after the actual tattooing part of it. So you're getting all the best parts of a convention, just melted down to like the core of what you want to be part of.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? But you're not paying for it. I mean, you're paying for it in a sense that you have to get a hotel room and you got to be part of it, but you're not paying to take part in any of the events and stuff like that.
And is it getting marketed like it's a convention? Like, is there going to be posters around?
When we're doing posters and stuff like that, but it's going to be a little bit more because it's the first time we've ever done it. And none of us has ever done something like this before. So it's more of like just hey man, we're all going to be at this shop for the next fucking 4 days. Who wants to hang out?
Mm-hmm.
So it's open to the public,
Anybody wants to come out and just chill. You know what I mean? And like I said, like throughout the day, we'll be tattooing during the day if we can. If we're not tattooing, Jimmy's going to start doing some one shot. We're bringing some other friends in. We've talked to a handful of other people that have already been like, I can't do it that time. But we're trying to bring in artists that can do oil painting. Like I said, one shot, some sign painting stuff. Like we're trying to bring in a bunch of different old world tattoo kind of fucking culture stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it can be a lot of fun. I'm going to bring my airbrush stuff out and try to fuck around with that. Just try to create something like an environment where people can hang out. And even if they're not actually painting or doing stuff, they'll be able to pick your brain while you're doing it.
And how big is the shop to be able to handle?
He's got a sizable shop. It's probably like maybe it's bigger than what you have upstairs, definitely. Mm-hmm. But there's also a full basement that he's got he's made like a bit of a rec room out of.
Okay.
So he can actually have a bunch of people downstairs as well. Plus he's got a huge parking lot, side lot. So he's going to do a bunch of stuff. And he just took over a fucking ramen shop next to him with a partner who actually who makes ramen. So they're going to have a restaurant on the fucking premises and stuff. So
shit.
Like there's a lot of like really cool stuff. This is FUD.
What time of the year are you guys?
We're doing it at the end of August.
Oh, okay.
End of August, right before the Lenore convention.
Gotcha.
So right before the Lenore convention. So
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think
like a lot of fun.
I think that, tattooers need to be a bit more proactive of hanging out with their fucking friends.
Yeah.
So.
John and I have mentioned a couple of times, like, should we do something here? We talked about doing like a seminar or just something, but we never actually pulled the trigger on doing it. And I'm kind of glad that we never did the seminar, because now that I'm seeing so many other people doing it, I'm like, that's stupid.
There's a lot. Again, here's the thing. You got to look at it from the perspective of I don't want to say they're doing it because it's a lot of money. It could just be an educational thing. They're just trying to teach everybody how to do the tattoos they do. I mean, it could very well be that, but I'm pretty certain there's a fucking dollar sign next to that, you know?
You know what though? I'm almost certain that the dollar amount is less important to them than the notoriety.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a really good way of putting it, because I think a lot more people, I mean, we see it happening on Instagram every single day, that people are sharing information for nothing more than fucking likes.
Yeah.
And that blows my fucking mind. And again, this is not gatekeeping. This is just like, here's an idea, shut your fucking mouth. Like, get some friends at home. You know, why do you have to get all your friends and accolades online? Why can't it just be with a bunch of people that hang around with you? Or are you that much of a douchebag that people hate you that much that know you? And you have to do it online in this false, oh God, I'm doing it.
You're doing that thing.
Fuck.
Okay, so now that Joe got that out of his system.
Yeah, he's got a few more.
For 30 seconds.
Christian, for those who don't know you, let us know where you're from, how long you've been tattooing, and what kind of tattoos you like to do.
So I'm from New Haven, Connecticut. I've been working with Joe for what, 15 years now?
It's been a while.
15 years, but I've been tattooing for about 26 years. So.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah. So I started in 98 and I was like 16 years old.
Damn.
So, I mean, as far as what I like to do, I like to do a little bit of everything, you know, like I find joy in every style, but if it's more like nature-based color stuff, I really enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of lean my clients towards that.
So the first time that I met you, actually, you were tattooing in Long Island.
Oh yeah.
I went to go get the back of my tricep tattooed by Jeff Ensminger, and you were tattooing at that shop. And that's the first time I remember
Jeff worked at Keith's?
Yes.
No fucking way.
I was telling you that Keith was taking a percentage. So Jeff had to probably charge you more to pay Keith.
Maybe. I have no idea. I don't know anything that went down in the background. I don't even know how much it was. But like, that's where I first
That's
ever
funny,
met.
yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Fucking small world.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was that the Jameson tattoo?
Yeah, my Jameson tattoo. I drank.
That's a cool one.
You have a Jameson tattoo?
Yeah, I have a Jameson. I have like a severed hand holding like a Jameson bottle.
That is so fucking. I remember that. Not what I would have expected.
Like Jeff.
How did that tattoo hold up over?
It still looks great.
Right?
Yeah.
The dude's such
The
a solid
only thing
tattooer.
that disappeared about it, he put like this like Tokyo pink behind it.
Right.
That looked really good against this green bottle. That thing disappeared. The sun just went.
Pink disappeared,
Yeah, it was like that fluorescent looking pink.
Yeah, that was like that was a pink that was like, I remember when Civ got that on the back of his forum by Mike Malone, did it on him back in like 94, 95. And I don't know what it looks like now, but when he first got it, it was neon pink.
Oh yeah, it looked crazy.
Wasn't that known to be blacklight responsive?
A lot of words, like I mean,
some of those things definitely were.
A bunch of national homogenized, like their yellows and oranges. Those were blacklight responsive. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Back in the day.
So how long were you tattooing at that point?
At that point, like I'd say like 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say like 3 years, maybe 4.
That's
very, very early on. I didn't even have like anything on my torso in that time or anything like that.
You knew enough to get tattooed by Jeff Ensminger, though.
I did. I had people that really liked their tattoos, and like whenever they got close, I was like, I want to get tattooed by them. Like at that time, I wanted to get tattooed by Nate Beavers, and I wanted to get tattooed by Jeff Ensminger. And then I really liked Seth Wood's work, who I ended up getting most of my work done from, like during that time. But it was like a matter of like Seth was just traveling. He was just traveling nonstop, just all over Europe. Nothing. He was in New York for a little bit and then left. Didn't come back. And I was like, damn, I want to get a big piece from that dude. And I waited, and eventually I got like my full like torso to the sides.
Damn.
Knees. I had that, you ever had to get that moment where you're like, I want to be really tattooed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was it. Like I knew at that point, I was like, that's it.
I feel like I had that moment right away. Like as soon as I walked into a tattoo shop, I was like, yep, this is it.
So you started when you were 16?
16.
How did that go down?
So I got my first tattoo when I was 14 at like a party, and it was like a stick and poke kind of a thing. But then shortly after that, I convinced my mom to sign for a tattoo, and in return, I would continue to go to school and not drop out. So she agreed, and then we went to a tattoo shop and got a legit tattoo in I still dropped out afterwards. So I didn't hold my end of the bargain. But shortly after that, I ended up meeting a guy. I lived in the projects, and I met a guy who just did 20 years in jail, homemade tattoo machine, and he was like tattooing everybody in the neighborhood. So I hooked up with him, and he showed me how to make all, homemade stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how I started, man. It was,
Shit.
I still have the machine framed up in my
That's
booth.
awesome.
Yeah.
Damn, I wish I had my first.
I say that all the time. I wish I do.
Because it's like you can picture it in your head. Like I can visualize it, how terrible it sounded too. But
What'd you do with it? Did you get rid of it?
I gave it to somebody else that was also in that like early stages. I did that. I've done that with like many machines and like,
Me too. Yeah.
or like people that I've like believed in, or like, I'm like, man, this did something for me during that time. Like, here, take this.
Right.
Hopefully it does something for you too.
Yeah.
Gar gave me my first tattoo machine.
Gar from Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard from him in forever.
Do not have it anymore. Yeah.
Oh,
I actually asked him a couple of months ago to come on the, maybe it's actually longer than that, to come on the show. And
yeah,
he's
because he's not that far from here, man.
like, nah, I don't want to. He's like, I don't want to do that.
It's funny. I think all those guys kind of they just kind of, it's weird. They were like the beginning. It's not so much corporate shops, but it was like this older, and this is not going to sound good and it's not meant as a shot, but it's like this older generation of tattooers that like, they weren't like these, ride or die tattooers. And again, I don't mean that as a shot. So Gar, if you're listening, it's not an attack, but it is one of these things where like they didn't make the mark that I think a lot of other people made. And they're not in it to the point where it's like, you still live, breathe, and die this trade. You know what I mean? And that's a big deal. There is a difference between the type of tattooer you are. There are still people that are old that are still contributing. You know what I mean? For maybe no other reason that's all they fucking know. You know what I mean? But they are still contributing. They're still trying to take part, and they're still trying to like, this is it. This is it. Where other people, they buy a shop, they own a shop, and that's it. That's their job. They go in, they tattoo a couple of days a week, and they just make sure the shop is running. They make sure people got paper towels and that there's still, envelopes being dropped.
Yeah.
And that's their in. And I'm not knocking that. But by the same token, there are different breeds of tattooer, I think. When
I met Gar, which is probably coming up on like 20 years ago, he already had 1 foot out the door. And I think shortly after that, he wound up selling the shop. And I don't think he's tattooed anymore. To be honest, I haven't heard from him in a really, really, really like, because I was tattooing him and one or two other people, Azaria. Mm-hmm. I was tattooing her. I tattooed a couple of people that were coming up from Jersey for a time. And then I haven't seen them in over 15 years, probably. Yeah. It's been at least 15 years. So, but yeah, I think it's just a different breed of tattooer. You know what I mean? And I think we see that nowadays. We see a lot of these super young, I don't want to say wannabe old school guys, but they're wannabe old school guys, but they're still towing the line of an old school tattooer. And I think that's a really important fucking thing because I like I said, it's never going to die. You know what I mean? With all the new things that are happening in the industry right now, that old school mentality is never going anywhere. The government may beat the fuck out of us out of it, but it's still going to be there no matter what.
If you're a tattoo artist who uses an iPad, you're going to want to watch this. Since 2016, Tattoo Smart has been curating an incredible collection of digital flash. We work with the best artists in every style to make reference material that you can use to save time and make your clients happy. Now's your chance to fill your iPad with Tattoo Smart's digital tools. So make sure you log in at tattoosmart.com and fill your cart with our best-selling flash, toolkits, and 3D body parts.
Christian, how did you go from doing tattoos, 16, 17, probably you're now like probably doing tats on your friends at least?
Well, at that time, yeah.
Yeah. And how did you get to a shop?
So my first shop was 2 years after doing the whole street kitchen magician.
Yeah, just figuring it out.
2 years of that, figuring it out with homemade tattoo machine. And I heard that a shop, it was about an hour away, Derby, Connecticut. They were hiring, looking for people. So I just took a city bus over there with my portfolio and hoped for the best. And he took me in, and I learned a lot of what not to do at that shop because it wasn't good.
I think that's something that I can share that experience.
Yeah.
I had those moments where I was like, I learned a lot of what not to do here in this environment.
But, it's a good way to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And just kept going from there. So
At that time, were you painting also?
No. I've only been painting
later.
for about 15 years.
Okay. Only.
Yeah, that came later, yeah.
Only 15.
But did you always have that creative spark back in the day? Because I mean, not for nothing, dude. Nowadays, like when you set your sights on something, you do not fucking let up. Like you just go at it. Like we were talking, you wanted to mention the 3D printing. Dude, that's insane to me. What he's managed to produce in the last 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
So I have like an addictive personality.
You think?
So if whatever I'm doing, like I'm like full force. So I got to be very careful what I put my energy towards.
Yeah.
I got to make sure it's something positive.
So, okay. And this is kind of I get the trigger word. Yeah.
Go for it.
Fucking the whatchamacallit, the Oculus.
Oh yeah. What about it?
You got into that big time.
Dude, that fucked me up.
You had to put it away.
Yeah, I did. Like I was spending about 2 or 3 hours in that thing every day. And to the point where I was trying to go to sleep and like, you know how you like close your eyes and you kind of have like a little, you know, like where your vision is.
Yeah.
My vision was expanded like in my own mind. Like I was in this like weird state where like it didn't feel good.
You were metaversing.
Yeah, like in my sleep.
In your sleep. You were
It was so weird. And I just had to put it away because it started making me feel crazy.
Dude, it was the funniest thing because I remember talking to him at one point and I wasn't even talking to you. I was talking to Tiff.
Oh yeah.
And I said something about, I'm like, yeah, well, Tiff, Christian's got one of those. Oh, he had to put it away. I'm like, what do you mean he had to put it away? And she goes, oh no, he can't have it anymore. What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, he gets sucked into shit. And he doesn't. And again, that's one of those things that it's not part of the shop.
Right.
So you don't really see it. Like with his painting or with the 3D sculpture and stuff like that, like those are things we see on a daily basis and you see it happening. Like you see this growing, but you don't see it'd be like, and I'm not comparing you to a junkie, but I am.
Well,
but
I would.
it's like somebody who's a junkie. It's like, you know, they keep that on the outside so that you never see that in your face, you know, so you don't realize what the issue is until somebody brings it up and they're like, yeah, he can't do that no more.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
If I'm playing video games, I'll play for like 8 hours a day.
I remember there was one
bad.
game.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So
addictive personalities, dude.
for real. But it
feel like
works out in my
tattooers share that.
benefit when I'm
Tattooers in
painting,
general,
you know?
For sure.
Yeah, tattooers in general like that. I mean, you know, I think we were all like that. I mean, I'm still like that in a different way. You know? I think that's just tattooers in general. I think that's what, I mean, maybe it's creatives in general. It's not just tattooers, obviously. You know what I mean? I think tattooers, we have this Peter Pan complex that allows us to ignore everything going on around us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just do what we want to do, which is amazing. It's phenomenal, but it's not a realistic way to live the entire life. Not to say that people haven't, you know, I mean, exactly. You know, people do.
That's debatable. I mean,
no, again, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but what's the cost to the people around you?
oh yeah, you definitely.
That's my point.
I have to make it a point to make my family a priority and spend time with them, or else I will be like
Sucked into your own
so focused on my own.
And how many tattooers do we know that ignore all of that because they're doing their own fucking thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't care about anything else because to them, this is all that matters. And it may not be a selfish thing that they think that they're doing. They think that, oh, this isn't selfish. It's just me being.
It's not intentionally selfish, but
but it is a selfish
So
thing.
I got a really good story from a tattooer about a tattooer who I really, really like his work. And they were just telling me like, yeah, that man, like he gets up early in the morning, he paints, then he goes to work and tattoos all day and usually just go home and paints some more. And he's crushing it, but he doesn't really have much of a life.
right.
And like,
Sacrifice, yeah.
you know, and I was like, damn, that's such a real thing of like, there's so many guys that you're like, oh man, you fucking see their shit. And you're like, fuck, I love that dude's work, you know, but then overall they're like a one-sided, you know, kind of, they're not balanced,
Right.
you know, like they don't have either close friendships or relationships, or they're not connected with their families or coworkers, or short because they're just so self-absorbed into their own like goal. And I feel like sometimes there's points in your life where like, that's what you should fucking do. Like, that's what you should do. You should be absorbed in your work. You should be pushing yourself, especially before you reach an age where that looks weird, dude. Like there's a certain point where like once you become like that hermit where you're not associating with people because like think about somebody that would get so obsessed with like being in the metaverse that they no longer go outside to like talk to other people. They no longer like maintain their friendships or anything. They're just sucked into like something. And then you're like, oh man, that's like taking up your space in your life.
I mean, I think the first 8 years, 10 years of my career were that. It was everything was going out, doing my thing. You know, I wasn't about trying to make a name for myself. It was just trying to become a better artist, better tattooer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what happened was I went from that to I want to experience more of life. Like growing up on Long Island is it's a very, you know, we said it before, it's a bubble.
Yeah.
You know, once you leave the bubble, then it's a different world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it comes to a point where you need to expand. It can't just be about work. It can't just be about becoming a better artist.
Yeah.
You now need to grow. You need to grow as a human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something that as a tattooer, the beauty of that is the fact that if you pull your head out of your ass long enough, you realize that. And it still offers you everything you had before.
Yeah.
And all the perks. You just have to realize, dude, the perks are there. You just got to find them. You just got to reach out and take them. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think, if anything, I've definitely taken more of the perks than I've taken the other part of thing. Okay.
Oh, we're hooking up Lalo and with his headphones. Forgot his headphones.
Steadfast Tattoo Supply, owned and operated by professional working tattoo artist Frankie Porcelli, demanding top-performing materials, from the highest quality pigments and medical supplies to tailor-made needles and cartridges with true line weights. Steadfast also specializes in custom machines built from scratch in-house and offers professional or group machine building seminars. Steadfast does everything to keep you and your clients covered. Steadfast, supplies that work as hard as you do.
You think like, I agree so much with that. I think sometimes you have somebody that felt obsessed with art, you know, they're like, oh man, I want to be so good at this. I want to master this. And during that time period, they were so focused on it that then over time, other parts of their life are not improving or moving forward in the same kind of context. And then you have to be like, all right, I got to go back to doing things that feel hard to me. And sometimes what's going to feel hard for you is going out and talking to people, you know, like being vulnerable and showing your work to people that you really like their work as well, and have them be like, oh man, I like your shit, or I don't like your shit.
Do you think our trade is lacking in the individuals of like the, like just the willy-nillys that were amazing artists, like the Philip Blues and the Bernie Wrights, the Bernie Luthers, that could just go out there, just create amazing art, then hang out all fucking night, get drunk, high, fucking chill, whatever, get up the next day, do it the same fucking way, and just have this like, just, I can't even know that. I don't know, like just whatever, like they're living their best fucking life. Like they're just going out there every day. They're fucking creating great art. They're partying. They're meeting people. They're making friends. They're traveling the fucking world. Like they're just doing everything in their power to do, not even in their power. They're just doing it because it's for the sake of doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, they're still tremendous fucking artists. And then now you've got people that they do nothing but work. Yeah. And they're missing out on all the fucking, you know, just all the springtime fucking fun.
That's a huge change. Man, I wish I could pinpoint this, but I remember when tattoo conventions went from like, oh man, after the convention, like everybody that went to the show is going to hang out and it's going to be like crazy energy and it's going to be wild. So they're like, then all of a sudden we're like, nah, less people are hanging out, more people going like, nah, we're all going to crash early or we're all going to go do this. I'm like, oh,
we got to work.
We all got to work. I'm like, but you work at home. Like, you know, like when you do the convention, like go interact with people from other places and make some of those friendships. Cause I feel like those are some, at least from my experience, like those have been some of the most like important things that I've had.
And not only that, like the people who are like that.
Oh shit!
Hey, I'm
Gabe. Gabe's here.
Black Lives Matter. So I think. Wait, how does Gabe talk?
You got to bring it close. You got to bring the microphone closer to your face.
Can you hear me there? In regards to what you're saying, a lot of these people are going early to bed because, you know, they got to work. They're going to build this career. But a lot of the big steps that happened in my career was because I was hanging out and I met some cool dude. We had some good energy, and then he ended up being like the guy who was looking for talents for a brand, and they were looking to sponsor artists. And then they were like, "Hey, you want to go to the next convention? I'll pay your ticket. We'll give you a booth and all that." That came from, of course, working hard at home, having something to show, but at the convention being social. I feel like, but the thing is also this generation, everybody's on their phone.
That's a very good point. I think that the social aspect of that is not, it still exists obviously, but it's not as big of a deal. I think people are not looking to meet people in the bar. They're not looking to meet a character in person. They're more inclined to look on their phone to find the individual they think is going to make the match that they want for their brand.
That sounds like online dating.
But do you not?
You literally just described online dating, like where people don't go out anymore and they rather just do it on their phone and be like.
But don't you see the our entire society going that direction?
Yeah,
it kind of is.
Agreed.
I think people are more inclined to believe what they see on their phone over believing what they see in person, going to a convention and getting to meet those people. Because, and not for nothing, man, you might learn a little bit something more than you wanted to. You know, I mean, back in my day, you had artists that were fucking scumbags, dude. They were big fucking names, but they were douchebags. And it wasn't until you met the motherfucker that you realized, oh, damn, I don't want this guy. I don't want him anywhere near my brand, let alone my fucking family. You know? I think anybody's going to know what I'm talking about. I came from that day and age where this guy made a name for himself as a fucking, you know, he created a persona. He created something that he absolutely was not. He was not an artist. He wasn't a creative. He wasn't somebody who was super talented. He was just somebody with a big fucking mouth. You know what I mean? And that got him a lot further than it probably should have. Eventually it caught up with him, which was actually, I don't want to, you know, wish anybody bad, but you know, it was nice to see that it actually happens. Karma does exist in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, man, it's like, but that's the kind of thing, unless you're involved with that individual in person, you're not going to get that. If you look at an online persona, that is not real. I mean, if anything, the last couple of years have shown us that online personas are bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's nothing more than fucking smoke and mirrors.
Everything is curated, and then people are reading reviews, and people are having an idea of what they want to meet, what they want to know, what they want to learn. And they go to these conventions with all these expectations of like, oh no, I'm not interested in this person. I'm not interested in this person. When in real life, there's so many other factors that you might, like the other day in Richmond convention, I ended up in the lobby talking to some dudes that I didn't even know who they were. And now at the end of the convention, he came to me like, yo, I had the best conversations with you. You're my friend now. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I thought he didn't like me because he was he's a really good artist, but he's one of those quiet ones. And I was like, oh my God, that was great. And we did have amazing conversations.
Dude, it happened to me.
But I would have never gone to talk to him because I felt like he didn't like me. And if I would have been looking at him on Instagram, I would have been like, yeah, we have nothing in common.
Dude, it happened to me. It happened to me at the Hell City convention just a couple of weeks ago. Like we Friday afternoon, everybody's getting their shit, you know, delivered to the concierge. We were all set up, waiting for it was early. It was probably around 11 o'clock in the morning. And I went down there to get my package of, you know, prints and stickers that got shipped to me. I get down there, there's like fucking 10 artists. They're all waiting at the concierge for their shit as well. And it's the guy, John, who does oh God, I can't remember his fucking last name. He does all the fucking funny Instagram fucking things. And I'd seen him there.
John Nelson.
John Nelson. Yeah.
So quiet.
Yeah, super quiet. So I had seen him. And when I will admit, when I first saw his stuff, I'm like, what the fuck ever, dude. But it is funny. Like, you can't help but laugh. Funny. Yeah, you can't help but laugh. You know?
It's a new kind of humor too.
Yeah. And I'm talking to a couple
Napoleon
of people.
Dynamite humor.
Yeah. I'm talking to a couple of people. I see him there and I'm like, hey man, just want to let you know, like, I really admire the stuff you do. It's funny. And I think it's really educational. And I'm like, and your work's beautiful, man. Cool. And he was just kind of like, okay. And like literally weirded out. Like, I'm like, okay, fucking weirdo. I turned around and walked away. And I just assumed it was just like, yeah, this is the day and age we live in now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Dude, Sunday, I walked up there. He's in the, what the hell's the name of the fucking brand he's fucking repping? Allegory. He's in the Allegory booth. So I walked up there and I'm like, hey, do you guys do anything other than black and white? Or you just do, you know, and he's like, oh no, we got a gray set. So I started talking to him about it. And he's like, hey man, take this. This is like just a full set of black and gray. He opened one of the bottles. I'm like, okay, cool, man. I just want to try it and compare it to what I'm using now. And I walked away. And dude, at the end of the day on Sunday, he came up. We talked for like 45 minutes. Nicest guy in the fucking world.
Yeah, he's so funny.
But it's like, dude, it's like pulling fucking teeth. It's like, God damn it. It's like back in the day, you could roll up to somebody fucking shit-faced hammered drunk at a convention bar and people would just talk and you made a friend for life. Now it's like, really? Like, come on,
but
man.
he's not like a newcomer and a young guy.
No, he's been around for a bit,
Yeah,
but it was still, he's a quiet dude. You know?
I mean, I think that comes with the territory. A lot of artists are like that. I think tattooers being like loudmouths and just outgoing is kind of the anomaly as far as artists go.
Okay. No.
I would say, yeah, I was going to say no.
I don't know.
I was going to say no.
When we went to fucking IMC, when we did the Illustrator Masters class, those motherfuckers were partied. There was all kinds of ill shit going on after hours at that fucking gig. To the point where I'm like a tattooer hanging out with a bunch of fucking weirdo shut-in fucking illustrators from all over the fucking country, most of which is upstate New York, and they are weirdos. Like, Lord knows.
I mean, weirdos are different than talkative, though.
It's the same fucking
No, it's
thing.
not.
Dude, you put drink in those motherfuckers, right? Am I wrong?
No, yeah, they were in their own little nerd bubble. It was cool.
It's a nerd bubble, but it's a weird nerd bubble. Yeah, no. It's a sticky nerd bubble.
I have a hard time
You're a
talking
bubble
to people
boy.
at conventions. And I have to force myself to interact with people.
But I think that's a positive thing. Everything I've done in this business has been when I first traveled, the first time I left Long Island to go on that 2-week road trip was literally forcing myself to do something outside of my bubble. When I first left the country, it was the same fucking thing. It's like, this is how you become a better human being.
Right.
You know
Definitely
what I mean?
gotta put yourself
This is how you grow your horizons. It's not because I was trying to make a name for myself. It was strictly trying to become a better human being. No more. Open your fucking horizons. And that's the only way you I think the biggest issue I have is not being able to break certain boundaries of my own that I set for myself, that I'm like, okay, I've made it. And then you realize, no, you really haven't. And now you need to take it to the next level by doing something different. You need to stop doing it this way and do it that way. And I've not, and dude, I'm 56 years old, man. And I've still not been able to break that. I mean, I hope to be able to eventually, but it's still a chore, you know, 30 some odd years later, it's still a fucking chore.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. By the way, have fun the next 20 years.
Man, I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen. But I don't know. Just have fun. See what happens. But so you've gotten into 3D printing.
Yeah.
I saw I was trying to find the name of the company that's making some beautiful like Japanese masks and stuff like that. Like,
I feel like there's a ton of people doing
and they
that
sell just the models and you get to print them out for yourself.
Yep.
How do you make do you make your full model and then you
I make it myself. Yeah. So I use a program called ZBrush.
Yeah.
It's like a 3D modeling tool and super complex. This is my COVID project.
Yeah.
I've been trying to learn this program for about 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a thing where like you would sit down and it's so dense that I would just be overwhelmed right away. And I kept putting it away, putting it off. But over COVID, I had a little bit of time and I was like, you know what, this is the year I'm going to do it. And I just sat there every day watching YouTube videos, just trying to, learn it. And finally like it clicked, and I was able to just create anything I wanted. So.
Sick.
Is ZBrush one of those programs where you start with like a ball or a cube and then you just start modeling?
You push and pull and you add pieces and you can do so much with it, man. It's so rewarding when you like create something in the morning and later in the day you have it in your hand because you
printed it out.
It's like you could just wrap it, prototype, and it's pretty amazing.
That's killer.
Yeah.
What I found even more amazing that 3D modeling itself is so complicated.
Yeah.
But then you hand paint all these things afterwards, which is adding another couple of hours on
the
top
last
of it.
2 weeks you've been fucking wrecking shit just to try to get this thing done for this art show.
Yeah, I decided last minute to do a toy show again this year, and I gave myself basically a month to fit in like 3 months worth of work. So I've been just like cramming it in.
This should be out before that toy show, so you should drop where it's going to
be. Oh yeah, it's 5 Points. I don't know if they call it Toy Fest, but it's 5 Points Fest. It's in a different venue, so I don't want to say where it's at because I don't remember where it's at, but somewhere in New York.
But it's called 5 Points.
Yeah, it's 5 Points. It's pretty cool.
Oh, 5 Points.
Yeah.
Used to be like a graffiti building.
Oh, I think they've moved venues a couple times. Last year it was in Brooklyn, and now it's somewhere else.
So they just kept the name and they kind of
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that was a bummer. That place was super iconic in New York City, the graffiti place, and then it got
the one next to the.
Nobody bought it out.
Is it the MoMA in Queens? Is it across the street? There was like a big warehouses, like artist studios, and it was the best fucking graffiti you ever seen.
Yeah.
They tore that place down, right?
Yep,
it's a place.
Yeah, everything got destroyed.
Yeah, shit changes, man. It's a shame.
Shit does change, and
corporations are taking over.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's taking over our industry.
Yeah, it's already been done. It's already done.
Yeah.
So when Gabe and I did Joe's podcast a couple of months ago, around that time, I was already toying around with the idea of getting a 3D printer.
Yeah, you got it right afterwards.
And then I saw all of his stuff and I was like, I said, I'm sold. And I got a printer. I think the night after that, I was texting Christian. I was like, oh man, what should I do? Should I get this? Should I get that? And immediately after that, I was like, I got one. I was like, sold.
Have you done anything?
Have you done it?
So nothing on my own. Yes and no. Like I've been, so I'm trying to learn Fusion 360, which is more of like it's not like a artistic modeling program. It's more of like, let me make products. Okay. And so like I've been trying to figure out like, I need a hook for my blinds. Let me try to model up like a little hook and I'll print that and prototype and see if I can get something to work. More functional stuff, but it's fucking hard.
So when I was in California a few months ago, I stopped in and saw Greg Simpkins, Crayola, and he had shown me a bunch of 3D mock-ups that he had done in Nomad Sculpt.
Okay.
And I'm like, damn, I was like, using Nomad, and he's using Nomad Sculpt to create a lot of the images that he'll paint. Not that he's using that as his reference, but he'll use it when he's in a pinch. Yeah. And I'll be like, I need to create this, blah, blah, blah. And they're fucking slamming. It's like, you can go to print from these, what he's created. And he gave me the name of a couple of different artists that are doing 3D prints for toys and stuff like that. And they're using predominantly Nomad Sculpt. And dude, the work that these guys are doing in that is fucking insane. I mean, not much different than what Christian is doing in ZBrush. But I think Nomad Sculpt is a little bit more user-friendly.
It was the first 3D modeling program that came out on your iPad. So
yes,
but ZBrush since then has launched an iPad as well.
But he showed me all this stuff, and I'm looking at some of the stuff these guys are doing. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. So I mean, definitely, it's worth checking.
It's a lot to learn. I tried learning Blender first because it's free, but there's so much to it that I just started going down the path of like, let me just get familiar with the machine itself, and I started downloading things that people are already made. Right. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like in a way, I kind of think of it as Flash. Like somebody designed this, right? I'm going to print it. But there's a part of me who kind of feels a little dirty doing that too.
I like it when it's like functional stuff. Like you're going to print something that's like, like helps you with things in your house. Up. But when it comes to like figures and stuff like that, I won't. Yeah. I'll just figure out how to do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. But it makes sense because they're offering it to you to print. So it's like, it's no different than using like fucking Tattoo Smart to use for line drawings or fucking, Flash. Right. So it's no different as long as you're not trying to take credit for yourself. Right. Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense. It's just a starting point. You know what I mean? And a lot of times you're just printing it just to fucking put it on your shelf. You're not doing anything with it. You're not reproducing it and saying, I did this and I'm repainting it. Look at what I've done, The best is, so my son, he'll look through the bamboo. So I have a bamboo, I don't know what it's called. Like
Bamboo Lab.
Yeah, Bamboo Lab A1 or whatever it is. But so with the app, it's like a forum that everybody who has already uploaded their designs, you can just scroll through it and pick one out and download their stuff. Right. So my son will go through it and like, he'll find all these articulated spiders and articulated snakes and all that. He's like, oh, print this for me. So I'm like, all right, cool. I don't got to do anything. I just hit the button. And just a couple hours later, it's out there and he's got something to play with. So that's basically what I've been using.
That's pretty sweet.
What was the program that you started painting with? Like it was Daz.
It's called 3D. Daz 3D. So for a while, I was like painting a bunch of skulls because I have physical skulls in my studio, but I want to do more figurative stuff, but I don't want to deal with models.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking into this program, Daz 3D, where you can actually buy a 3D model and you can pose it and you can create a world where you can light it and all this stuff. And that's what I've been using for references for the last couple of paintings I've done.
That's sick.
And I think it's one of those things like you can tell that people are using like AI.
Yeah.
Like someone will take an image, they'll put in all their prompts, they'll get their image they want to do. I think what sets the artist apart from a regular AI artist is they're taking that reference and then they're working with that and then they're doing it in another medium,
right,
or they're doing it digitally, but they're changing it so it no longer looks like the AI art that they prompted and created.
Yeah.
And I think this Daz is the same thing, where if you're creating this image, this world, this diorama, and then you're painting it, and then you're doing it in a medium that is not the same, trying to match it for the most part.
Right. Well, you're doing it. Become a director.
Physical, you're doing it in a physical medium.
Yeah, I don't think there's any difference than like we know when an artist would hire like a group of people to be all like stage them out and a bunch of models.
Dude, what's that artist name? The tattooer from New Zealand, or
Matt Jordan.
Oh my God, that guy is
incredible,
fucking amazing. Like that motherfucker needs to get off skin and just start fucking creating work on canvas. Like his stuff is so dynamic. Absolutely fucking gorgeous. He's a tremendous tattooer. I don't know how much of a painter and stuff he is, but the stuff he's creating and the
amount of effort and production he puts into the reference.
Yeah,
I think that's
amazing.
Great.
Absolutely,
I wonder if he calculates that into his costs. Like, does he pay these models to do this?
You know what's funny? And I don't know, but I would like to think he is from a school that it is not a matter of dollars and cents.
No,
it's a matter.
I know him. I'm not really good friends with him, but I hang out with him in the same group, and he's a very simple man.
That's what I'm saying. So I would like to think that it's a matter of the end result versus how much it costs to get to the end.
And it looks like he has a very comfortable life. He moved out of the city. He lives on in the farm. Like he's not worried about paying bills. So it looks more like
tremendous.
Like, oh, this is what I want to do. Hey, could you come today to pose? Like, I feel all these people are his buddies and things like that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I don't think he's that much of like production. Get me 5 models. They should be looking like this and this and that. It's more like, hey guys.
What do you guys think about that? Like, I think like, a lot of, I saw somebody post this, I don't know where, right? But it was somebody saying about how much certain artists are charging. Like they're charging like astronomical amounts of money, but it's in order to be able to keep up like this rock star lifestyle of like, let's say like living in New York City and like
lost
Soho
me right fucking there
and all of this shit. Right. But like, if that doesn't seem conducive to the same purpose, right? Like there are people that are maybe charging a ton of money,
Do you remember when artists came? Well, you wouldn't because you're too young.
Yeah, probably.
But do you remember when artists came to New York to live the artist lifestyle?
The artist lifestyle, right?
Because they can do it for next to nothing. Because you could live in a squat. You can create your art in a fucking studio that you couldn't afford anyplace else. And that's why they did it. Now, if you're going to do that, you have to create this bullshit persona in order to fucking create some crap that people are going to be like, oh, well, he's from New York.
Yeah.
And apparently it's worth more money
where
if it's from New York. Exactly.
But now I feel like the people that are maybe getting the opportunity to do that are doing what Lalo's just mentioned. Like instead of actually going to the big city, they go somewhere where it's further out, where they can get the space, the time, they don't have to focus so much on how much money they're generating.
So somebody, I'm not going to name names because while I know the person, I don't know him that well and I don't want to piss him off. But he's somebody who's really famous in both in the comic book world and in the TV world, I guess. And I remember he's been involved in a couple of situations where he created an IP that went further than it should have. And everybody's
what is an
making-
IP?
Intellectual property.
Exactly.
Okay.
So like a character or a story arc or whatever. And he's talked to a couple of his friends. He's living a very modest lifestyle. Not even living a modest lifestyle. He's living well in an area that you would not expect somebody like him to be living.
Yeah.
Where other people are trying to live the Hollywood lifestyle. And they're trying to we got to be there. And I will admit, if you've been to California, like when I did the TV show years ago, dude, you think the world is on a fucking platter in front of you. Like motherfuckers are throwing all kinds of shit at you. The moment you leave California and you are out of sight, out of mind, these motherfuckers, it's like you died. Like they didn't even attend your fucking funeral, but they think you're dead. Yeah. Like that's how crazy it is. But that's how I think a lot of these creatives think, the artists, the writers, or whatever. They feel they need to be in the midst of it. And we all see that. I mean, we see that at conventions. If you want to be part of a brand, if you want to be picked up by a fucking machine, company, if you want to get a fucking sponsorship, you have to be at the convention. You have to be in the middle of the fucking mix. You have to be the fucking life of the fucking party. That's how these people are. And when, say, him and his friends, his ex-partners, whatever, kind of butt heads, their thing is, well, dude, what the fuck, man? I got this lifestyle. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm doing pretty good. And I don't got to live up to a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like I just do my thing. I'm a fucking artist, dude. I could do this anywhere in the fucking world because all I need is a fucking internet to be able to fucking download shit to whoever's going to print it, whoever's going to publish it, whoever's going to fucking use it to make a fucking movie out of. That's all I fucking need. What you got is you're fucking running around trying to fucking, you're like a guppy looking for his next fucking meal. You know what I mean? And if you're not there, then you're forgotten. Now, what does that say about A, talent, and B, fucking drive? So it's weird. It's definitely a crazy thing.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that it definitely, you see both sides. I see both sides of it, like it could be fun to fucking live in a fucking sick ass pad. And
of course it's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But like the peace of mind of, being able to be focused on your work and really push yourself and not have all the distractions.
But I don't think one thing cancels the other one. Like there is just a small % of people that naturally generate that much success that they can live that life. And then there's other people that are trying to copy the lifestyle when the lifestyle for this person was just a sub product of what they did.
The work.
Because, like if with tattoo artists is we haven't got there yet. But one day there's going to be managers and you're going to be doing your thing in your little corner and you think you're doing a lot because you're doing $2,000 a day or whatever it is. And then there's going to be some dudes that are going to come and be like, yo, I can book you for this much money a year and you're going to give me 15%. And maybe it's going to be five times what you're earning. And like a musician, as long as you don't sell out and whatever happens from the microphone into your soul doesn't change, why not, instead of playing in front of 5 people, 200 people, play in front of 200,000 people, get whatever % it is that I'm going to get that is bigger, and then I can help my family or give it to charities if I want.
Let me ask you a question about that. Like, how realistic do you think that is? And the reason why I say this is the scale of the pool that we now swim in, the amount of talent that is out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's not to say that talent does not exist in the music, in acting, and fucking whatever. It's not that it doesn't exist, but it's also in this business, it's so much smaller. The pool is so much smaller.
But see,
how many times you watch a movie? A few times, but then you buy the merchandise. That if you can turn someone into, look, I don't know if you've been to the Miami airport, but it's been some years ago. I went to Miami airport and everything was full. The whole city was full of these like cheesy ass horrible sculptures from these artists, Brito.
Oh, Brito sells everything over there. Bro.
Yeah, and like there's even toys for kids for $1,800 and things like that. Like I think tattoo artists could get to a point like that. And then it's like anything else. There's going to be a small % that with good marketing can get there. You're going to get some real people that go that way. And then some people that are just characters.
I think with that, you have to deal with trends. You have to deal with branding. Like I did a thing with Kid Robot. like many years ago. Kid Robot has had some amazing fucking viral shit go crazy.
The cost
for artists.
went insane.
Exactly.
Man. Like,
and dude, I remember people who worked for Kid Robot that was like, oh, fuck this guy. But you couldn't take away how much money he made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had other people talk, I'm not going to mention names, but other artists that did stuff with them and other pop artists that were just kind of like, yeah, what the fuck ever. But the fact of the matter is it had that little spark. And that's all it is. It's not a matter of talent. It literally is. Sometimes it's blind fucking luck, which is something I use a lot.
It's communication too. Art is communication. So it's not talent. I don't know how much.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
No, because look, music is the best example because like I bet you none of us, our favorite band, none of those guys are the most talented musician. We don't listen to music where they are the most talented. We listen to music that communicates a feeling and an emotion to us. And like sometimes a lot of like, you know, if you listen to Nirvana's music, it's very simple. And that conquered the world. When there's musicians that have been studying 25 years and they look at that like, nah, because they're trapped in the little echo chamber of talent. But it's not that like if you are chasing talent sounds like a good thing and is a good thing to do, but it should be a tool. You should use talent to express what you need to express and communicate to humans. And that's what humans are going to connect. But don't become a slave of talent.
To me, talent doesn't get appreciated until it's too fucking late. And that's a fault of the individuals that enjoy what they view, what they like, what they listen to, whatever. It is something you do not appreciate until it's gone. And then you sit back and you go, oh shit, I really did enjoy that fucking music. I just didn't like it back then.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem that we deal with. Dude, who fucking likes Taylor Swift? Okay, Taylor Swift is not a fucking talented musician. She is a tool that is being used by fucking corporations and doing, and again, I shouldn't say that she's not talented. Not my intention.
But I know what you mean. But I know what you mean.
But my point being is, it's not.
She's a good songwriter.
It's not something that in 20 years we're going to be listening to.
Not us.
No, wait. I'm just going to quote. I heard a friend of mine who's a really good musician in Colombia. He was talking about that. How, you know, he's made music for the biggest talents in commercial talents in Colombia, but he has his own projects and all that. And in the other day, he was somewhere with a tribe of indigenous people where they were doing their chanting and their party, and they were all in trance and this ceremony and all this. And he was saying, this is something that has been here for centuries, and it's so close to them, and it's so good and so pure and so nothing. And you know what? Nobody knows it exists because it's not on Instagram. It doesn't get one like. Maluma is getting 1.5 million likes on one of his posts of one of his songs. But in 100 years, guess what? Nobody's going to know who Maluma was.
Exactly.
These people are still going to be there.
Dude, I remember the first time I had I think it's pronounced the Kitchak monkey dance. Like fucking Mike Ledger turned me on to it, and I was getting tattooed by him one time. And it's this like fucking indigenous tribe. I don't even know where the fuck they're from, but it is amazing. If you look it up, it's literally the Kitchak monkey dance. I think that's how but it is amazing. And it's this kind of thing that literally has been passed down for fucking decades or centuries. Who knows? You know what I mean? And it's still something that I remember. You know what I mean? And it's something that will be remembered for forever. We're not going to hear the other stuff. It's the same thing with tattooing, I think. We're just part of a small, like we are literally, the bigger the business gets, the smaller our part in it becomes.
So the other day I rolled by Big Joe's, and I said what's up to Adam, and we were just talking about stuff, and like, you know, and Adam just asked me like, why do you think it's so slow? And I said, it's like, you know what? I just think that the newer generations right now are just not into getting the same kind of work that we saw maybe like 10 years ago or 12 years ago. And I think it's going to take another 10 years for that to change, you know, like it has to be like a whole new generation. And it's crazy. Yesterday, then Boris was here, and he said like, yeah, when I was tattooing in, you know, the 90s, you know, people were getting a bunch of small shit. Mm-hmm. And then slowly that started growing till the people were getting the big sleeves and all that shit. And then all of a sudden we're going right back down.
Shrink it back
to
down.
like shrink it back down. I feel like it's a matter of time and of like mentality. And then I said this, I was like, you know why I think a lot of people are not getting these big tattoos? Because people don't want to look like their fucking parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, feel like, and it's like, you know, like the younger, you know, the Gen Z and whatever's below them or after them, you know?
I think so.
They want to look different. And I feel like rebellion was a huge reason for people to get tattooed.
Last year when I did the podcast, and one of the things I fucking said went fucking ape shit on your fucking Instagram. It was me talking about people getting dumb little shit tattoos.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people came out and said, well, dude, back in the day, that's what people did. They did these patchwork tattoos.
Yeah.
And I think that the problem with not going back and watching the entire episode and hearing what we were talking about, we weren't talking about patchwork tattoos. We were talking about little dinky bullshit tattoos.
Yeah.
The little Friday the 13th, the fucking Star Wars days, like the little line drawing pieces.
Yeah.
What I was complaining about was when somebody comes to you with an entire sleeve of just little dinky fucking line drawings.
Fillers.
Like each tattoo is the size of a fucking quarter or maybe a $50.
Yeah.
And then they go, I want to make a sleeve out of it. And I said, yeah, no.
Should have thought about it.
Like, don't, exactly. I mean, we had somebody in the shop at one of our events. We did a walk-in day. And I can't remember what the fucking walk-in day was. It was like, it wasn't Halloween. It was like, it was only a couple of months ago. What was the last walk-in day we did? Well, we did a walk-in day and a cat came in and he wanted to get 2 tattoos next to each other. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do those. No problem. And they were like, when we do walk-in days, like we were saying before, we don't do little tattoos. I mean, they're little, but they're like 1.5 to 3 inches on average. You know what I mean? We're not doing the 1 inch outline. Like everything's shaded or fucking colored. Like we're not doing fucking, you know, $100 fucking outlines. Yeah, no, not even fine line. Like we're not doing outline bullshit tattoos. Like we're doing a proper fucking tattoo. You walk out with a fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
Like it is fucking finished. And he came in and he had one little tiny tattoo, like literally probably about 1.5 inches. Just an outline of a fucking skull with a cowboy hat. And I'm like, and it was backwards, which fucking drives me crazy. Couldn't remember the girl's name who did it. Only remembered where he got it. Didn't not remember the shop she worked out of. And I'm like, God damn it.
No.
So now he comes in with 2 more tattoos. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. I can do these tattoos anywhere you want. My recommendation is you do one here, you do one here. So now you turn this one dopey shit tattoo into one nice size tattoo. And then from there, you can continue to grow on that. And he went, well, that makes sense. And we did the tattoos. I did a little bit of stars and dots around the entire thing. So now a small little tiny tattoo and 2 other little tattoos.
Trying to look like something.
Yeah, it turned into a fucking 5-inch fucking wide area tattoo that he will have no problems working into. That guy came back a fucking month later and now got a fucking lower forearm sleeve.
Nice.
And it's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, dude, I don't care about your fucking $50 fucking one-shot tattoo. You won't remember my name. You won't remember why you got the tattoo. All you know is you got tattooed that day. You know what I mean? I want to do a little bit more than that. And that's, which is why we talked about earlier about the walk-in days and how important they can be. You know, those days have not disappeared. We just need to we need to wrangle people back to the importance of what you can do. And I think the idea of kids of today not wanting to look like their parents, I fucking get that, dude. But instead of just following the bullshit trends of some dopey bitch who fucking sings for a fucking living and whose life has been gifted to her by fucking people well beyond her fucking years, okay? Instead of following that dumbass, make your own fucking path and decide what it is that you want based on the things that came before you, not just follow the things that came before you.
Yeah.
You know?
Going back to what you were saying about Adam asking, why is it so slow? There was a video that I saw recently talking about the Pareto principle. Has anybody heard of this?
No.
So the Pareto principle, this guy was talking about selling art at a convention. And he was saying, if you notice, let's say as a whole at the convention, let's say $100,000 was spent by the customers buying artwork. And that $100,000 is distributed. You know, the guy bought some prints at this booth, some at this booth. And the way that it's divided, according to the Pareto principle, is that 80 to 90% of the people are getting like a very low amount of that $100,000. And then the last 10%, if you look at it as a graph, once it gets to the last 10%, it skyrockets. And that little chunk of people are getting the majority of the $100,000 that are being spent. And it's because they're putting in the extra work. They're, extremely talented. They know what they're doing. But the difference between the guy at the like 89th percent and the guy at 90th percent, which is like where that spike is so minute. But there's something there that's making the difference. And he's just putting that little extra effort into it. Yeah. And I think that's what we're seeing right now is like, it seems really slow to the majority of us, but there is the 10% of people
I say
that money is going to.
That sounds exactly like the economy. Like, the fucking the top 1%'s making all the money.
Look at football players, look at soccer players. The millionaires are out of all the football players in the world, 100 of them are the ones who are getting all the things, and then the rest are pretty much as talented, but they don't have the whole setup package.
Yeah. What I say is I call it the trend. I basically say it's the trend. It's the individuals that have made a small niche for themselves in the business. Mm-hmm. And that trend is what's keeping them on top of everybody else's game. Yeah. You know what I mean? And again, there's no way to, there's no mechanic. There's no way to say, oh, this is what sets him apart. No, man. Sometimes it's just blind fucking luck. Sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, he looks good on fucking in pictures. Or they look good in
part of it.
Whatever. Exactly. They have a style that is just, it's trending, but theirs is just a little bit different. Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe it's not any different. And they just caught on that much quicker. A lot of it is literally just some minute little bullshit that you can't put a fucking finger on.
Because people connect to the story a lot. And I used to not believe in that and not care about that. But people connect to the story. And like Shay, the Israeli guy we used to work with, he would always tell me in the shop, like, dude, all your clients love you because they all want to hang out with you. And I didn't understand how important that was. And like and then I realized, it is good. And that's why they come and they like my work too. And this is what you got to translate into the social media world. So people come and connect with you. Because I'm going to tell you, like, we take 100 people and we ask them, we put a lot of paintings in front and we ask them, which one is a Van Gogh? Most of them are not even going to know which one. And then you are going to ask them, hey, who is the artist that cut off his ear? Van Gogh. Like the story behind it. Yeah. People, the way human brain works, that's why we use narratives, is we like to tell stories and we like to hear stories. And actually that's the biggest difference between us and any other animal. And that's what helped us evolve much more than other ones. Because we can have bigger groups and invent a story, a narrative that we convince everyone, hey, God is telling me that we should do this. And that's what we have created and evolved all this much because we have the capacity of telling these stories. So
united thoughts.
So it is important, the talent and all that, but people are connecting to the stories. The thing is that those stories in tattooing and all that, before you got to know them by like hanging out and felt them, oh, these guys are... Now, our generation, we're like, where did it go? And it's happening on Instagram. And a lot of it is fake, but some of them are real, and this is the problem that a lot of tattoo artists are having, that I don't want to post that shit. You don't have to do the dance. You don't have to do that. But if you don't want to be forgotten, you're going to have to do that. Like I was in New York for 18 years and I had a very strong clientele. And now I'm not in New York. And I see my clientele is going down, but I realize it's also because I don't post, I don't do these things. So, they like me, they like my tattoos, but they're on Instagram all the time and they see this guy that is posted, oh, I'm going to get a tattoo. Oh, I connect to this guy, I go, so that's an important aspect.
That's the problem with what I say about the Dog and Pony Show. It's like, sometimes you don't want to do that. And with our pop-ups, we are a Dog and Pony Show. We go to a pop-up. It's literally, oh, we're tattooing in the back of a brewery. We're tattooing in the back of a bar. We put our best fucking foot forward. Mm-hmm. Anybody who sits there cannot say a goddamn thing about the work coming out of there or the presents we made. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is it's still a Dog and Pony Show, but it's the mark you fucking leave. And that's the big thing. And you try to make that impression where it's never going to go away. Like they're going to sit back and go, oh no, I got tattooed there by that guy. And that's all that matters to me.
No, and as long as it's authentic, it's
and that's my point. And that's my point. You have to be that fucking person. Those people have to fucking, it's not just a trend. It's not a bullshit fucking thing. It is legit. The problem being is legit doesn't stick around as long as trends.
That's true.
And the fucked up thing about trends is while the trend may not last as long as legit, there's always another trend to back it up. And that's the problem with a lot of the way people think. They're not following the legit, they're following the trend.
I know, I actually think it's the other way around. I think the legit comes up, people follow the legit until it becomes a trend, and then it crumbles until something else legit comes out. Trend is like gentrification.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think
man.
I think it's like gentrification. It's like you go to these neighborhoods where it's like, it's a good example. Like artists move to this neighborhood that is not so cool, but they make cool shit and it becomes a great place with great cafes, great.
And then it's lame.
And then oh, that's a cool place. Oh, let's open up, and everybody starts going there.
To me, that's just a trend. That's but the legit thing is what comes first. Legit is something that only a handful of people recognize.
True.
They recognize it, and then the trend happens, and everybody recognizes legit, but they follow the fucking trend. Legit never goes away. You know what I mean? We're going to remember fucking certain artists. We're going to remember certain fucking actors. The trendy ones will make billions of dollars for themselves.
Don't you think that legit comes and goes also though? Like what could be legit 20 years ago is not necessarily legit now.
Because
it becomes a trend.
No. I don't think it becomes legit. I don't think it, no, exactly.
It becomes history.
Exactly.
It becomes history. It becomes part of history.
Because there comes a point where that's the thing with legit. It can't be trendy.
Can't be too legit.
It's in its own place. It's in its own place. And the best thing about our industry is Sailor Jerry, fucking Mike Malone, Ed Hardy, fucking all these fucking cats are never going away. You know what I mean? They are always going to be there. If anything, we should be blessed by the fact that the legit parts of our industry are never going to be washed away because they are always going to be the fucking core of what we are. And that's a tremendous thing, which is something that most businesses, most trades, most entertainment things don't really have. You know, you have the Cagneys, you have the fucking the Marilyn Monroes, whatever. Those people are remembered, but now, I mean, that's few and far between because it's such a grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
where tattooing is still kind of core, even though our business is as big as it's ever fucking been. And hopefully it doesn't get bigger, but it's as big as it's ever fucking been. But the fact of the matter is the core is still here because there are still people talking. Like if we were like a tribe from back in the fucking day, you know, we're still talking about these things. Mm-hmm. It's not going to stop. I don't think it ever will.
All right, so we literally do everything. We're going to help you 3 to 5x your income simply by maximizing your output. At the Force of Focus, we have 4 different members in leadership who have all dedicated more than half their lives to this industry, both in and out of the tattoo career, to give you every resource you could ever imagine. Everything from personal development to branding and marketing, content, business innovation, business infrastructure, and financial literacy and investments that are truly going to work for you. Now, if this is something you're interested in, or if you just want to know more about it, click the link below or shoot us a DM at The Force of Focus on Instagram and let's get a conversation rolling.
We talked a little bit earlier about the Wailing Wall, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember any of like that history, the fact that like how all those stones look different because they were built by different times, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think about like tattooing as this wall that people love and worship, right? Some of that stones that are on there, you may not like them, but they're still part of the whole structure. Honestly, it keeps it together.
Honestly, that's a really, really nice way of putting it. It's giving tattooing entirely too fucking much credit. But no, you're right, dude. That's a really, really, really good, because I fucking hate as many people as I like. I believe it or not, put out a very honest facade, like polite facade. But yeah, dude, I hate a lot of fucking people because in my opinion, I know them personally. I think they're despicable human beings. You know what I mean? But by the same token, they're part of our trade, dude.
Yeah.
They're part
And
of
not
the
only
people.
that, like everybody puts their own thing, and like the idea of what you think tattooing is your idea.
Yeah.
That doesn't. Who do you think you are? That's
not
what it
so
is.
much
No,
that.
but wait. I remember one time Mario Barth was talking about something. He came out with something, and he was talking in behalf of the tattoo industry. And I remember some dude in our shop was like, "Oh, what the fuck he thinks he is, the fucking spokesperson for the tattoo industry?" And I was like, I didn't agree or care. I was like, well, he's being the spokesperson because he's doing everything he needs to do to be in that spot where he's talking to a bunch of people who are believing him. You think you have something better to do? Get in that position. Do all the things he had to do to get all that attention and all that. To the point of this was like, I was not saying that Mario was right or that I like what he said or nothing. It was like, he is being that. He's fighting for it. And he's becoming that.
Voice.
And you think you and your 5 friends in a bar are really what it is tattoo. No. Guys like that are too, and they're doing more.
But
and
that's always been the problem with our industry. Is the fact that
no, but it's not a problem. I think it's that's how it is. That's how life is.
Well, no, true. Exactly. Well, that's a good way of putting it, because there's no actual like the upper echelon. There's no way of being like, oh, I'm at the top. Like, you listen to me. Like, it's whoever's the loudest is the one that's going to make the biggest impression.
Mm-hmm.
And with someone like Mario, he can fucking prove that because he's got the money. He's pushed the fucking in the pigment industry. And not for nothing, dude, if he's not doing it, who the fuck is going to? Are we going to leave it up to the fucking government? Or worse, some fucking underhanded cocksucker that owns another company that goes, oh yeah, you just tell us what you want to do. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we deal with, because that's what you have. You have people that are backing and honestly believe in their fucking product. And then you have other people that are just like, oh, I'll be able to make all the money? Yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to fucking do. Because fuck these other assholes. Like, I don't give a shit what they like using. I'll give them what they can fucking use, and they'll fucking use it. And not for nothing, we're a fucking dopey trade that will do just that. Oh, I can only use that? All right, cool. I'll use that. And in the meantime, I'll make my own stuff on the side until I get caught. Because that's the mentality of the people. How many people have you heard? Oh, well, you know, when the shit hits the fan, I'll just make my own needles. Yeah, have fun with that.
Go back to that.
Exactly. Have fun with that. You
I saw a video today of a machine making cartridges.
Oh, I said it.
You said that to me. I was like,
I was blown away.
It was way smaller than I thought it was.
I never thought it was so like like at that speed, dude.
Yes, dude.
Right? I thought it would be like
fast.
maybe check. And like, no, this thing was like,
it was like 8 different pieces, like all
of
working.
arms moving.
Where is it out of? Do you know?
China, where else?
Exactly. So 10%.
Well, it was China, but those guys.
I would guess it was China.
No, that company is like from not Norway, but maybe Sweden.
Which company?
The company that you sent me. That's a Swedish company.
I
I don't know if they're sourcing from China, but like.
They are. So you know how much is the salary of a Swedish person?
Too much.
Yeah, with like
That's
good, with perfect teeth, 8 hours of sleep.
But it was a machine doing it though.
Yeah.
This is wild.
I mean, do you really think that someone's going to be doing that by hand? Of course, a machine's doing it.
Oh, no, wait.
No, for sure.
Oh, yes.
Aren't we supposed to be making fucking Apple phones in the United States next year?
Yeah,
I hope
Tesla phones. When I first came to New York, I was blown away because I never seen pre-made needles. And then I remember when I started working at Unimax, one day they're like, oh yeah, upstairs. And I woke up there and they were doing the needles up there. They were not making the actual needles, but they were soldering.
Check that.
And he was like,
check that. I think it's from that. Look at that. Look at that machine go.
Can you send me that?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. That thing is just like, I was like, damn, I want one of those.
Replace all your tattooers down here with machines that make needles.
God, dude, look, New York is such a crazy place that I bet you if you had that machine up front by the window and you were like, we make your needles custom just for you. You get to press the button and make your own tattoo needle and see it happen.
You
right
mean
before
and have your
eyes.
initials micro engraved.
I swear to God, that'll go viral.
You'd be like the fucking Willy Wonka.
You can dip the tip in LSD, MDMA, or just
fucking John
green juice.
Down with a fucking cane, just being all like, check me out.
Dude, I swear to God, there's dumb shit like that I'm like, oh, dude, I totally that'll work. Something as dumb as like, we're gonna laser engrave the name of your loved one on the needle. You
could be like
with
when
a
they
microscope.
when they do the little fucking the name on the grain of rice.
Yeah.
Oh, your name is on the side of the fucking needle.
Yeah. They'll be
you know what
oh
we
my
should
God,
start
this tattoo
doing?
means so
We
much more
should-
now. I love it.
We should start tattooing people's ashes, dead people ashes into the. I feel like that would be such a good.
Yeah, it's already happening. Or
I know,
worse,
but like market it
you
and
just
like
give it to some company. They put the DNA in the fucking ink, and they charge too much to fucking resell the ink, and then you fucking do that.
do you get pregnant with the DNA?
Oh God, that would be amazing.
Imagine though that they do it like they do with the dog crematoriums, and they just bunch up like a shit ton of
Exactly.
dogs in one bottle.
I mean, what do you think
Like, I
they
came here
do?
with
What
the
do you think
first
they do with
bulldog.
humans?
Yeah,
Of
God.
course, it's the same with
but I'm
humans.
saying if let's say you want like your loved one's bottle in like just your wife or whatever, your mom, and that's what you think that you're getting. But in reality, there's like 20 other people in that bottle.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
We live in that kind of world, dude. They ain't fucking cremating one body at a time, dude. This is a mass cremation. Oh God, I'm gonna stop.
A mass
There's
cream
no
pie.
good way for that. There's no place good place for that to go.
Christian, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me listen.
You had not one fucking trigger word. I'm glad.
Yeah, I didn't have to.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I think. Do you hear me? Or am I out?
I lowered you because you were so close. You were getting distorted. I had to lower you.
Yeah. There you go. I sound better. Now I can hear myself.
Yeah, because you were right up on top of it. It was getting distorted.
It's moving on me. It's a beer.
Are we being sponsored by these plastic wrap?
Stretch tight.
No, but stretch tight.
By Kirkland.
Kirkland signature, dude. That's the best.
Yeah.
But I do want to say one thing. I want to shout out Michelle Miles for bringing over this awesome Lady Liberty book.
Yeah. So Michelle stopped by earlier. Let's not talk too much about it because she does want to come on and like.
Who's
So this
Michelle?
is just a
Who's
teaser.
Okay.
If you
Michelle?
listen to this far.
Who's
into the
Michelle?
Podcast.
She owns Daredevil and
I know.
But yeah, thank you so much for sending it.
Yeah. And hopefully you guys will see her again soon. She was on a couple of months ago, but
yeah, hers was really good. And she does some really, really, really cool stuff down. Again, she's got a shop that is a legit fucking New York City.
yeah.
And she does some really, really, really cool stuff down here, but with like do you call them tattoo tours? Like, what do you?
Yeah.
It is a tattoo tour.
It's just like a historical tattoo tour.
We want to have an episode where we actually do the tattoo
I'll
tour
be honest
there.
with you. If you
It's
do
gonna be
that,
awesome.
please let me know. 'Cause
What is
I
it?
love
What would
to
that
do
be?
it. So basically, she walks you around the city. If you go to Daredevil, you can actually get a map of
Yes.
all the.
We
old
have one
school-
upstairs. We'll show it to you.
Okay, you get all the old school shops that used to exist in Manhattan back in the, I guess, 50s, 60s.
In the 50s.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She's going back before before it got made illegal.
Mhm.
But if you do it, I would very much like to be part of that
That'd be
because
awesome. Yeah.
I have never done it. Like when you guys made that comment last week and you said, "Oh, we've never done it." I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things I keep saying. Well, but again, you guys are here. But even for me, like it is one of those things that I really would like to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was here earlier this afternoon and she's saying that she wants, or not she wants, but she recommended that we all just do it as a shop. So if
Yeah,
you wanna come
absolutely.
Here, come and do it. We'll all come do it as a shop. She'll do the tour and then she wants to come on the show, talk about her book, promote it a little bit, and we'll make a big day about it.
Yeah, that sounds like a fucking awesome time. I love that.
I don't know if I have her in my fucking thing. I was going to text her right fucking now just to bust her fucking chops. And be like, hey man, I'm at the fucking Honest Tattooer, dude. Like we want to get.
Just get her on speakerphone.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I have her.
Man, I saw that Mark Mahoney was at her shop this week, and
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw
She was
that.
saying that too.
I saw that.
He's there for the next couple of days. She's like, come by,
yeah,
see him, say hi.
yeah, I love to go by there. So
You should,
Make it
dude.
happen.
Mark's a classic motherfucker, dude.
That's
Like, he
a-
is.
He was
that is
always
a classic man.
next
dude.
to me at the New York City Tattoo Convention.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was in.
And I didn't know who he was. And then later I was like, oh, dude. And he was super cool.
I was in London. I was having some magazine talk to me to do some interview thing. So I'm tattooing. I'm doing somebody's foot. So I'm like super low in the chair. I've got somebody sitting on two chairs and I've got her foot and I'm tattooing and I'm talking to the fucking person. And then fucking Mark walks up and I see him. I'm like, hey. And he's like, hey, Joe, what's going on? And Mark's like super fucking cool. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, all I can think of is I should stop tattooing, stop talking to the fucking person with the microphone and go up there and talk to him. And I'm like, hey man, I'll talk to you later. And he's like, oh, it's cool, man. I got you. And he just walked away. But I felt like a total douchebag, like, because it's like Mark is.
Yeah, he told me about it.
You know,
he told me, "Fuck this dude."
Yeah, fuck.
I
this
saw
guy.
him in London. Fuck this
This
guy.
fat giddy fuck is prick. Yeah.
Who the fuck he thinks he is? Yeah.
So,
Man, I bet this is the only time that Joe was like, damn, that guy's got good hair.
you have good, nice fucking
Nice shoes,
Like,
gator
that guy
shoes,
is- that guy
sharp as
is
a tack,
so
dude.
fucking classy,
Dude, speaking of shoes, I've been looking at your boots all night.
Same.
And all I could think about is getting kicked with one of those. Is that steel toe at the
That is a steel toe. So
damn.
I was.
Hold that up to the.
Oh, check this out, guys. Look at the steel toe on these bad boys. Snake skin.
How far do you think you could kick a football with that?
I don't know. This ain't made for
break
kick
his
football.
I
Before
guarantee that bitch would fucking break his toe before it fucking kicked the
So
football.
I was in when we were going to check out motorcycles for my girlfriend today. Like
Oh,
we're
no,
in
she's
this-
getting one?
Yeah, she wants to get one. She wants to ride. So like this
By
lady.
the way, this is John's fucking motorcycle garb.
Yo, so we're walking, and this lady in a parking lot goes like, do you like fuck, what's it called? Like somebody that are you a horse groomer? She goes, are you a horse groomer? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, because the steel toes is something that you use if you're a horse groomer. Cause like when you're close to the horse, this horse doesn't stomp on your fucking toes. And I was like, wow.
Dude, if the horse stomped on your fucking toe, it's going to crush half your fucking foot.
Well, not if you have a steel toe.
That's
up front.
what's it going to protect your middle
But-
fucking toe?
No, but this is not, this is just a fashionable boot.
No shit.
But but I never thought about why a cowboy would want an
Right.
actual steel
functional-
toe, like a functional steel toe.
But to Joe's point, would a functional steel-toed cowboy boot be more than just that? Because a horseshoe is going to be a lot bigger of an area than what that's covering.
Construction
The
ones are
cowboy-
this big. The construction ones with the steel toe.
he goes like, yeah, it covers your whole toe.
Yeah,
Dude, I
that's
don't
what
want
I'm
to be
saying.
the one to
This
say
is
this.
a little tippy toe.
But the cowboy who rolls up dressed like fucking John right now is going to be eaten by all the other cowboys and the fucking horses that
Broken
evening.
back mountain.
Bro,
huh? What's it?
that's when that is especially like, where does this cowboy get his sauce from? New York City. New York City. That is that moment right there.
Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. Oh, my Christ.
What kind of cowboy are you?
What kind of cowboy are you? You get your salsa from New York City.
God.
That gets me every time. Anyways, I don't know. I think we should cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should add one more question to Christian. I mean,
I think that's a good idea.
yeah.
How do you feel every time that Joe doesn't let you talk?
No. Yeah, thank you.
I am very used to it.
Hey, you should talk. Blah 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 blah.
So Joe texted me a couple of months ago. I was like, hey man, I really want to get Christian on the show, but he doesn't want to do it without me. So is it cool if I come along? I'm like, yeah. So this was supposed to be a show about Christian.
I kind of knew it was going to go this way. So
Christian, strategically.
I'm not much of a talker anyway, so it's cool.
It was not my intention. The whole time he's like, no, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, dude, it'll be fun. You'll have a good time, whatever. And he goes, I'll do it if you go. I'm like,
God damn it.
yeah, exactly. And the whole time I'm like, I won't do it. I won't do it. I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to do it.
Well, you may not be much of a talker, but you're a creator, which is why you're here. And I feel like that's one of the reasons for the podcast is not just about, and I don't want to tell that to everybody that listens to it and it kind of tunes in every day. The podcast is a share the tattooer experience.
Right.
It's not about how good your work is, how long you've been tattooing, whether it's a short time, a long time, whatever. Share your experience.
Show all these pieces
Yes.
that make the tattoo world.
Exactly. And there's so many. And kind of like with the analogy earlier, like all of us are these different shapes and size bricks that make up the tattoo world and tattooing. And I think that you can be whatever kind of brick you want to be, and that's really just up to you. You can be the big one that decides to take up a lot of the weight, or you can just be one that looks like shit.
But at the end, you're just going to be another brick in the wall.
Yeah, it's just the choice is yours, man. And whether people decide to remember, the mark you left is really, really up to you and what you decide to do with your time here. So
Earlier today, I was telling, I don't know who I was telling, maybe Matt Buck. I was telling him, I was like, for the quality of work that Christian puts out, you would think that he's got 1 million followers just because your work is so incredible.
Tattoo wise or
Tattooing, painting, sculptures,
incredible painting,
everything that you do is so incredible. And I was thinking to myself, like, why does he not have more followers? But now you being on the podcast, not saying a goddamn word, I understand why you don't.
And that's exactly why I said to him, I'm like, you should just do it, dude. Because I mean, so we went to, so a couple of years ago, he was like, man, I want to go to Europe. And I'm like,
what's your Instagram?
Christian Perez.
Did you guys get that?
I'd like
everybody right now, give Christian a follow.
Dude, honestly, my numbers have been going backwards.
Spell it.
Yeah,
for the last couple of years.
Because if you don't post, it's gonna happen.
I mean, I post a lot, but I don't really like. I'm not a talkative guy.
Chris what?
Christian Perez.
like single, like numeral 1. Yeah. So like years ago, he was like, I want to go to Europe. I'm like, okay, are you asking me if you can go to Europe, or do you want to come with me, or I could put in a good word for you? He's like, well, I wouldn't mind going with you. So we went to, was it Milan or Florence? We did
Florence. Yeah, it was the first time. Yeah.
So we did Florence together, and like we literally got the booths, and we're hanging out, we're working. I tattooed. You did 1 or 2 tattoos?
I might have done just 1 tattoo.
Yeah. But the fucked up thing was somebody came up and they're like, yeah, there's a guy on the other side of the fucking convention. He's tattooing one of Christian's paintings. And at that time, Christian had done these beautiful fucking skulls. They were gorgeous, you know, like oil painted skulls. And I'm like, where is he? And I'm like, oh, he's all the way on the far end. So I walked around like the second day, and I'm walking by and I see the booth, and the guy's tattooing one of Christian's things off the internet.
It's fucking crazy.
And I literally walked up to the guy. I'm like, hey man, how's it going? And the guy looks at me. He's like, hey. And he sees it. I think he realized it was me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, yeah, Christian Perez. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, he's working in my fucking booth. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, that's Christian's art. What you might want to fucking do is go to the fucking booth and maybe buy the fucking sticker of the fucking image you're tattooing on this fucking cat. Because not for nothing, that's the least you can fucking do for whatever money you're making off this fucking tattoo.
He was more offended than I was.
And he was like,
I was, because not for nothing, it's a big fucking deal, man. Like you see the art, you take the fucking art. Don't get me wrong, I've done my fair share of taking art, but I've also fucking purchased Boris Vallejo fucking art books, prints, fucking like calendars, all kinds of shit. The majority of the artists that I've bit over the years, I own their fucking art in one shape, one form or another. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's entirely right, but at least I did that. Now we live in a way where people fucking find stuff online and they act like it's a fucking scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, look what I just found. I'm just going to fucking reproduce this and pretend it's mine.
Yep.
yeah.
Because we also live in a world that nobody realizes that nobody's actually drawing the majority of the fucking art we see. So they're just bootlegging other people's stuff, or now AIing what other people's stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into that. But the fact is, it's like, yeah, dude, this stuff came from someplace else. Fucking give it the fucking, the respect that it deserves. You know what I mean? I got to a point where I was biting fucking, pinups of like gals that I found online. I'd give them, oh, this is the muse from this fucking piece, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did that much at least, but most people just look at it as like, we're not fucking pirates to that degree. Like if you're that much of a fucking pansy, you don't get to call yourself a fucking pirate. You know what I mean? So give the credit where it belongs.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, can I repeat his Instagram handle, because he said it, but I didn't get it, so I'm guessing a lot of people didn't get it. It's Christian #1 Perez.
Thank you.
With a Z in the end, no under nothing.
And there's no number before the 1. It is 1.
Okay, that's it.
One thing I want to say before we close it off.
Yeah.
We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago where I was complaining about how everything that you see on Pinterest, or a majority of the things that you see on Pinterest.
They're ads.
No, but that it's AI generated.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. AI generated.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that a lot of people were complaining about this, and the guys behind Pinterest heard. So now posts that are AI generated on Pinterest have a little disclaimer on the bottom of this AI generated.
Oh, shit.
But let me ask you a question. Who's going on Pinterest? Who gives a shit?
Who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Well, I think people do.
I don't think people care.
Whom?
Other artists.
Okay, I get that, but other artists shouldn't be going to Pinterest to basically scalp art.
I do that all the time.
No,
I think
so
it's
do
a
I.
great-
But
yeah,
I know
also,
full well
it's great.
I'm biting AI. I'm not going to Pinterest because I'm looking for. Okay, first of all,
wait, I get
opening
a
up
lot
fucking-
of. I get probably 90 to 95% of my reference off of Pinterest.
no, same here.
Yeah.
But my point being is, I'm not going there thinking it's not AI. I know full well it's fucking bit from something. Like I know full well it's not something.
It's no original art.
Exactly.
Popping up in
You know what I mean? Like I know full well where it's coming from. Like I don't care. I'm going to Pinterest because I don't care. You know what I mean? And again, this may sound shitty, but it's the God's honest truth. If somebody comes in wanting a fucking Zeus head, I'm going to fucking Pinterest.
Right.
And I'm going to fucking bite whatever comes up because I know full well it's either going to be a statue or it's going to be a fucking AI version of same statue.
So here's the deal though. The conversation that we were having where it was oftentimes very difficult to determine, is it AI or not, until you get into the weeds and you're like, oh, like something's not looking quite right here. Wait, hold on. So now with it just clearly saying that it's AI generated, you know that there might be something fucked up on here that you might not find out until you're too deep.
First of all, any dopey fuck, and I say that as you're a dopey fuck. If you're copying something verbatim off of something online and you fuck up because it's AI and not drawn, that's on you.
That's a learning experience.
But even if you're not copying it verbatim, if you're just using it for reference, and let's say the anatomy of whatever you're looking at is not anatomically correct, and you're not tracing it, but you're looking at that for your reference, if it's wrong, it's wrong, whether you're tracing it or not.
Yeah, but if you're copying from an artist, there's more chances that it would be wrong. You know, like
there's a good chance of that as well. That's a good chance of that as well.
Like unless you're copying
we've
from
all
live.
seen Boris Vallejo stuff from back in the day. Like none of his stuff was anatomically correct.
Right.
It wasn't.
I mean, it was kind of.
It was exaggerated.
Correct.
But
It's exaggerated.
I think there's a difference between anatomically correct and being exaggerated, and there's like
my point being is
really wrong.
Wrong.
My point being is, I think if you're doing something off of anybody else's art, you've got to change stuff to kind of make it your own. You know what I mean? There's no getting around that. And the fact of the matter is, if you're looking at it like, well, dude, it was on fucking Pinterest, I should be okay. That's ignorant. Like that's just dumb on their part. You know what I mean? That's just ignorant on their part. You know?
Well, now you're safe.
Safe in what way? Like I already know. Like, I mean, dude, I've straight up said, like, I bite shit off fucking, like I got to do, like anytime you have to do something 9 times out of 10, I go to Pinterest because there's more on Pinterest than there is on Google right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Better algorithm for graphic.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand that.
Yeah.
And that's just the world we live in. Back in the day, we used to go to a bookshelf and find stuff in a bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to say it all the time. The bigger your book collection, the better of an artist you were.
Mm-hmm.
Had nothing to do with being a great artist. It had to do with you had a great fucking selection of fucking reference.
Shane Enholm posted a video just about that. Exactly.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Okay.
saying exactly that.
Oh, Japanese artists especially, dude.
All about like the reference.
Like whenever a motherfucker got to go to Japan, oh my God. Dude, it's like the fucking gates of heaven opened up in front of you. It's like, oh my God, okay, I'm going home. I'm the next Horiyoshi, whatever.
Done.
Like that's all it was. And again, I get it, but by the same token, it's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Like if that's your gig, that's cool, you know?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, like I admire the fuck out of that, but I think that it's a pretty safe bet right now that a lot of things, I'd say 80% of what we see now is fucking AI. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, I mean, my whole point was that now, at least now it's labeled as AI.
Okay. Now, well, that's a good thing. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, there's still a lot of people, like, I think I said it to both of you guys about the Hollywood now going AI.
Yeah.
You know, that now AI is going to start writing movies and AI is going to start doing this. And I've had a couple
so many.
So I've had a handful of artists. Like,
supposedly the future of Netflix and things like that is you yourself are going to create you're going to prompt your movie. Oh, I want to watch some action movie, like kind of like what this guy did and Mad Max and this and that, but a little bit, a few seconds, and then you sit there with your girlfriend and watch something like that.
I saw a video today. It was
yeah, right.
I kind of hate it.
Yeah, of course.
I saw a video today. This guy, or it was a post talking about how AI is now doing video with like synced audio.
I saw that today too.
Did you see the stand-up comic?
No, not this.
There was
Great.
one. It was a stand-up comic, and he was up on stage telling his jokes. And I actually laughed at the joke because it was such a terrible dad joke, but it made me giggle.
Yeah.
And the guy was saying, it was like, oh, I went to the zoo today. It was such an awful zoo. They only had one dog. It was a shit zoo.
It's a shit too.
Oh my God.
It's so bad that it's good.
It's so bad that
It's so bad that it's good. That's
I think the thing that freaks me out the most about where we find ourselves right now is the division of our trade, of artists in general, not just us, but artists in general, how individuals are all about embracing the technology and other individuals are like, fucking burn that technology down.
Don't you feel like photography was like that when it came out? Like,
yes.
I'm sure there was
yes.
a bunch of painters like, fuck that shit, that's cheating.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But in all honesty, if you can put yourself back then and see what's happening now, do you honestly believe that there is any comparison whatsoever?
No. Of course, he's 20,000 times more, but it like the pattern is basically the same. It's something that it's unstoppable. It's coming. It's doing what you took you years to develop. They're doing it in 5 seconds. So, some people are going to use it just to create, and some people are going to use it as a tool to create. That's going to be their starting point.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to learn. And that's what the next generations are going to learn. And they're going to come up with like things that we're going to be like, oh, wow.
I sorry to take over that, but I think a lot of things with technology is that the price for doing something becomes more available for people to make bigger ideas, right? Think of like in Hollywood, there were movies that didn't get made at a certain time because making them would have cost way too much money. So as technology got better and they're like, okay, now we can just, AI generate this background. Now we can AI generate, another 3,000 soldiers on this field so it can look grand and stuff like that. The frightening
part of that is it better? That's the world.
Some of it is
Some of it is better.
Some of it is always better.
But we do live in a world where you sit back and go, yeah, if it was done a little bit more analog, it'd be better. Like, again,
I feel like there's only a few people that think that way. I think the masses are pretty much like,
okay,
this is
not for
awesome.
nothing, but fuck the masses, dude.
But that's who's paying. That's who's paying these tickets. That's who's buying the DVDs.
Yeah.
Come on.
Fuck the masses, dude.
No, and I think that's a very romantic way of trying to see everything. And again, a very narcissistic way of thinking that, that's the way things should stay and have been like, wait, give me a chance. Then what about your grandparents? I'm sure some of them will go to a point where like, well, this is getting crazy. This is going somewhere where we shouldn't go. And like, I trust me, I share a lot of your fears, and I share a lot of like, I don't like this thing, but it gives me peace of mind also to see that we're just evolving all the time, and we need to accept and learn how to accommodate to that, and also realize what it is. It is a tool that is going to make a fucking idiot look like a genius for our generation. But the genius of those generations, their starting point is going to be the level of a genius of our generation. And they're going to take that tool and boof. And then hopefully we're going to be able to appreciate it. And I choose to believe that instead of like, and it's not that AI doesn't give me anxiety and all that, of course, but like, I think is just another tool that is going to bring things that right now we're not capable to even
fathom where it could get as far as it could go.
Because we haven't seen it done.
You know what I see with this? Planet of the fucking Apes.
Trust me.
And I don't mean that in a good fucking way. Just fucking say.
All right, let's go home.
Planet of the fucking Apes.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Christian, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Joe, thanks for having you. Lalo, thanks for coming by. And we'll hopefully see you next week and tune into the show. And always make sure that you go to the episode, like it, share it, and support our sponsors. And thank you so much for joining us.
And also check out our Patreon. There's going to be about 15 to 17 minutes of extra content that we recorded before this episode. If you want to listen to that.
Bastard, you're going to use that.
I'm definitely going to use that.
Definitely. That's so good.
Head over to patreon.com/honest tattooer if you want to see that extra content.
Take care, guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
Peace.